Hi. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and share this dream as well. And this was a dream I had back in August or September of 2019, and about a month or so before I had the dream of the coming virus. So this one I've titled Satan's Throne. Okay, so I'm at home and I'm in Beverly Hills, and I'm arguing with someone. I'm in a room in an apartment, and I'm arguing with someone. And then I got mad and I walked outside and I went out the front door. And as soon as I walked out the front door, I could see that it didn't feel like the typical Beverly Hills area. All the houses and buildings from my side to across the street, they were super close together, and the streets were very narrow. It almost felt like I was in a different country. And there were hundreds of people walking both directions. They were really super close together. They were trying to get past one another. And I knew that had to go to a meeting, and so I was on my way to a meeting, and I was running super late. So I was trying to fight through the crowd, but I knew that I wouldn't make it on time if I continued to fight through the crowd and everything. And so all of a sudden, I was lifted up above the people, and I started just flying over them at a fast pace. And I was flying so fast that I flew right past my meeting place. But then all of a sudden, it turned into late evening and then night. So I had flown into a different time zone is what it felt like. And I ended up going up even higher above the clouds. And I see some really tall buildings, and the peaks of the tops of the buildings were coming up through and over the clouds. And it felt like I was between Los Angeles and Vegas. And anyways, I slowed down. All of a sudden, whatever was carrying me slowed me down quite a bit, and I was just going very slow. And then, and I just felt like I was right where I needed to be on purpose, that someone had taken me there and I was there on purpose. And off over my right shoulder, I see something in the distance, and I'm still up above the clouds. And I'm still flying, but just very slow. And I look over my right shoulder, and I see something that looked to be like a little. I mean, I don't even know what it was at first, but I knew that it was something not good. I could feel in my spirit that something was saying, "Be careful, don't get too close." And so I started to kind of, I was very curious, so I started to fly over that way. And I had this sense of feeling like I didn't have much time to explore what my eyes were seeing. So I fly as close as I can, and something was telling me not to get too close. And I see a throne. And there was a huge, big, tall, golden throne. It was beautiful. And then there were, out guarding in the front, were two of the biggest, tallest lions I'd ever seen. They were giants, and they were guarding this throne. But they were pacing back and forth, and they seemed very restless and uneasy. And I knew that I had to be careful so they wouldn't see me. And I kept trying to get a little bit closer so I could look in, and past the lions was a courtyard with a dark gray waterfall. And then over, by the waterfall, I could see a dark, see-through, grayish, false rainbow. And back behind the courtyard was the huge, tall golden throne. And you could tell that it was fit for someone or something of abnormal size. And anyways, I sensed a very evil presence about this place, and a very fake, it was very fake and false. the whole feeling of it was just like a duplicate is what it felt like, very fake and false. And as I started to try to get closer and investigate even further, something was trying to turn me around, and it was telling me that I was in danger if I didn't leave. And and then whoever's throne that it was near, and they were coming back, so that I needed to hurry and get out of there before they get back, because they didn't want me to get caught, and they didn't want whoever that was to see me. So I started to turn around and I started to fly off. And as I was flying off, I still continued to look over my shoulder. And then suddenly I see this figure, it landed. It had really huge, like bat wings. And it landed right behind the throne, and it was super tall and skinny and had pale skin and super long fingers and arms and legs. Everything was just super long and skinny and very pale, and I felt that it in my spirit I felt that it was Satan, and he was wearing this huge, big, beautiful crown. And then I see him as he landed, his wings were out, and then they came in, and he walked over to his throne and he sat down. And he didn't see me, but I felt in my spirit he was, as I was flying off, I felt in my spirit something telling me that he was down harvesting souls. So, and that he was harvesting souls, and he was preparing for something. And then I just continued to fly away, and then I woke up. And so the crazy thing, after this dream, I don't know, maybe it was like a week later, I was going home late one night, and I was coming from Beverly Hills, and I passed a public transportation bus. It was on Santa Monica Boulevard, like right there close to the Century City Mall. And it was around like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. And this bus had all the lights on inside, and no one but the bus driver was in there. And as it was passing me, sitting at the very back of the bus, I see this huge, dark, faceless, like black Grim Reaper, sorry. And I could feel its soul like staring right at me, and it was with the most piercing intent. And this was real. This wasn't a dream. And I've never experienced anything like that in my life. But anyways, that was really crazy. And then maybe a few nights after that, I had to go downtown, and it was in the evening. It was dark already. And I was passing this, as I was coming downtown, I look off in the distance and I see this tall building that looked exactly like one of the tall buildings that was piercing through the clouds. It looked exactly like one of those buildings, the one in my dream. And then like a couple days later, I was driving around town, and I saw these two large lions, and they looked evil, and they were like, of course, statues, and they were there was back behind them. They were in front of this building, and back behind them was this little courtyard, and then it was a building, and it was almost kind of like in my dream. It reminded me of my dream, and. So anyways, I went home and I got the addresses of these two places, and I looked up, these buildings, and I can't remember now because I had it all written down, because I really tried to do a lot of research on my dreams and stuff to see if I could figure out what they meant. But I can't remember if it was the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds. I can't remember, but it was one of those. And, they were... had owned those buildings at one time. And I don't know, there was just some things that I, thought it was kind of like strange. And I didn't know if it was like part of like God trying to show me something. Anyways, I wrote those down. But yeah, I'm going to continue to just keep sharing all the dreams I've had, because you just never know if any of these things are all leading to something. But I'm going to go ahead and continue to share them. All right, thanks.